Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great pleasure to be here to pay tribute to one of the athletes in Purdue. Now it is my great pleasure to present the Chicago Tribune Silver Football to the most valuable player in the Western Conference, the great Otis Armstrong.
Thank you. I'd like to thank the Chicago Tribune this evening for honoring me. And most important of all, I'd like to thank my fellow teammates and the coaches as well for helping me win this award. The fans were great here. You all were great. And I just thank everybody for just helping me just be a success in life. Thank you.
When 1973 began, the attention of most Purdue people was on basketball, as Fred Schaus's Boilermakers posted a surprising 15-9 record and finished tied for third in the conference. John Garrett, number 55, led the team in rebounds and averaged 17.5 points per game. Number 25, Jerry Nichols, provided great strength from the bench and was the best defensive player on the team. Most valuable player was Frank Kendrick. Number 34 averaged 18.5 points per game and returns as team co-captain along with Garrett. Bruce Parkinson, number 20, was the only freshman in the Big Ten to start every game and promises to be one of the best ever. Dave Luke, number 11, is one of the fastest on the team and will be a key player in 1974. Purdue was host to the Big Ten indoor track meet this year in Lambert Fieldhouse with its new artificial surface. The crown went to Indiana University as 5 conference records were broken and 2 tied. Major attention was focused on Larry Burton, who was starting his second year of track and already a 4th-place finisher in the Olympic 200-meter event. He could be one of the all-time greats before he leaves Purdue a year from now. In the 60-yard dash, he hit the tape to tie with Michigan State's Marshall Dill, and it took the judges 20 minutes of study before the result was declared. Time 5:09, tying the conference indoor record. Frivolity was the order of the day at the annual Ag Fish Fry, when the guest of honor was Secretary of Agriculture and former Purdue Dean Dr. Earl Butz. The College of Agriculture reached a long-time goal the past year. Explaining this achievement is Dean of Agriculture, Richard Coles.
Many of our friends may have heard that as of last year, the School of Agriculture at Purdue became the #1 school in the nation from the viewpoint of undergraduate enrollment. We had always been in the top 2 or 3, but it was last year that we moved into the first place. But for many people, this was a great event, but for us, this is a culmination of what's been going on for a long time. Many may not have realized, but the enrollment in the School of Agriculture here at Purdue has doubled in the last 10 years. In the last 5 years, it has increased more than 40%. Why all this increase in enrollment interest in agriculture? Well, we think one of the reasons is that many young people are finding the new areas that have been put in the agricultural curricula related to food sciences, landscape architecture, agricultural meteorology, agricultural communication, and the resource area and the environment area of great interest to them. And we fully expect this kind of interest and activity to continue into the future.
One of the nation's foremost home economists assumed the position of Dean of the School of Home Economics July 1st. Professor Norma H. Compton, who held the same position at Auburn University, succeeded retiring Dean Eva L. Goebel. Dean Compton, according to her associates, is not only an outstanding home economist and scholar, but a delightful person who is continually enthusiastic and creative. Purdue can expect dynamic programs under her leadership in instruction, research, and public service. July 1st also marked the day when Professor Robert L. Ringel, head of the Department of Audiology and Speech Sciences, assumed the position of Dean of the School of Humanities, Social Science, and Education. The school enrolls some 7,200 undergraduate and graduate students and has 14 academic departments, the largest in both areas on the West Lafayette campus. Dean Ringel sees his new job as that of a catalyst to bring people together. He hopes to draw common elements out of diverse sources and to provide leadership. He believes the goals of a dean ought to be reflective of the aspirations of the faculty. The third annual Purdue Women's Day took place in April. Returning alumni gathered to participate in a program emphasizing women's roles, genetics, the working mother, opportunities for women at Purdue, and in a general campus updating. At the luncheon in the Memorial Union, Purdue's First Lady, Mrs. Arthur Hanson, gave her impressions of her first year in that capacity. In April, astronaut and moon explorer Eugene Cernan participated in the Grissom Chaffee Memorial Seminar, and later the Purdue alum visited his fraternity house for dinner with the brothers. Purdue was host to the 45th annual Big Ten golf match in May, as 60 golfers took to the links for 72 holes in 2 days. This marks Coach Sam Voinoff's 22nd season on Purdue's golf scene, during which time the Boilers chalked up an unbelievable 83% win record, including 10 Big Ten titles and 6 second-place finishes. A high point of his career was in 1961, when his Boiler squad won the NCAA title. Sam will retire following the 1974 season. Budget cuts and the high cost of education dominated many conversations on campus this year. The possibility of an increase in tuition fees brought President Hanson to the mall to answer questions posed by concerned students in March. Dr. Hanson, who did not favor a tuition hike, stated that there was a $4 million gap between what Purdue asked for and what the legislature was prepared to give. Because of this gap, the tuition increase became a reality, beginning in the spring semester, 1974. The month of April saw the dedication of Purdue's new chemistry building. Here to describe that building is Dr. Joseph F. Foster, head of the Department of Chemistry.
Thousands of Purdue alumni will remember the smelly, crowded, totally inadequate laboratories in FWA building where they studied freshman chemistry. Those days are gone forever. This semester, 4,500 Purdue freshmen are studying general chemistry in a new $11.25 million building. This large rectangular building consists of 4 floors and a basement and is attached to the older Wetherill laboratory by a functional bridge. Housed in this bridge are several classrooms and conference rooms and new administrative quarters. The first 2 floors are devoted primarily to general chemistry instruction. 16 ultra-modern general chemistry laboratories are arranged in 8 pairs, separated by instrument rooms with glass see-through partitions. Each laboratory has 24 working stations equipped with all necessary facilities, including individual downdraft hoods to remove toxic or objectionable fumes. 3 computer terminals located here provide ready access to an array of computer-assisted instructional programs which can provide the student drill in chemical concepts, problem solving, treatment of data, and other trouble areas. Other special facilities include a laboratory for chemical education, a large area for instrument design, construction, and maintenance, and several controlled environment rooms. Finally, a substantial number of research laboratories are provided in the basement and on the 3rd and 4th floors. For the first time in several decades, Purdue's Department of Chemistry, one of the largest in America, has adequate modern space to carry on its duties of teaching and research.
The class of 23 was back for their 50th anniversary reunion during Gala Week. One of the highlights was the dedication of their gift to the university, a campus directory for visitors and new students located between Haviland Hall and the old chemistry building. President Hanson participated in the dedication. Afterward, there was time for several representatives of the 260 who returned to pose for pictures. A class of 3,482 students received degrees at Purdue's 121st commencement, the second largest in the school's history, on May 9th. "52 members of the Glee Club and 84 alumni and friends went on a 19-day tour of Europe in May that took them into several Iron Curtain countries. The group performed in Austria, East and West Germany, including Berlin and Hungary. An outbreak of hoof and mouth disease caused Poland and Czechoslovakia to close their borders to visitors, resulting in some last-minute changes in the itinerary. But it was a successful tour nonetheless, as Al Stewart and the Glee Club climaxed the activities with a performance at the 14th International Music Festival at Bremen. Completion this summer of the new $300,000 FAA air traffic control tower at the Purdue Airport, along with runway extensions, widening of taxiways, and completion of the FAA instrument landing system, brought the facility up to the standards of a major airport, serving the Lafayette area with general aviation activities and terminal facilities for Allegheny Airlines and Air Wisconsin. The airport has come a long way since the late Dave Ross, Purdue alum and benefactor, showed the land to Dean Potter and later gave it to the university. Purdue University Studies, the book publishing arm of the university, has published 39 books in its 13 years of operation. The books represent many areas of scholarly interest, but all are by authors with Purdue connections. Professor Emeritus Paul Fatou, who taught English composition and American literature for 38 years, is the author of a recent book entitled Indiana Canals. Here he checks galley proofs with the editor Diane Dubiel. Designer Jim McCamick works on the dust jacket for a new book on the Hoosier humorist and playwright George Ade, a Purdue alumnus and benefactor. While printing and binding are by commercial firms, all editing, design, and sales are carried out on the Purdue campus. The books, available through bookstores or directly from the publisher in South Campus Courts, Building D, are described in an annual free catalog. In October, Alpha Phi Omega, the National Service Fraternity, sponsored its 4th semi-annual all-campus blood drive. All donations are credited to the Purdue Student Blood account at the Marion County Community Blood Bank in Indianapolis. The Purdue Alumni Foundation sponsors 2 traveling trophies to encourage student participation in the drives. One goes to the housing unit donating the most pints, this fall taken by Carrie Quad. The other goes to the unit which attempts to give the most blood per capita, which this fall went to Theta Tau. Altogether, a total of 568 pints were donated. Fall doesn't get underway around West Lafayette without considerable attention being paid to activities in Ross-Ade Stadium. Purdue's new Golden Girl, Linda Hughes, is a feature attraction. In his first year as head coach, Alex Agassi's Boilers finished 4th in the conference and provided plenty of excitement. At Iowa, a freshman by the name of Mike Northington, wearing a familiar number to Purdue fans, tied a Big Ten record by scoring 5 touchdowns. Under various federal laws and executive orders, the university must not only be completely non-discriminatory in its hiring practices, but must also take affirmative action to attempt to employ more women and members of minority groups. Margaret Robb is assistant to the Equal Opportunity Officer at Purdue, Dr. John Hicks.
What kind of progress are we making in our various departments with respect to adding minority and women members?
Well, most of the departments have set goals for the hiring of women and minority group members consistent with federal law. They have also committed themselves, as you can see, in our affirmative action program to the advertising of positions. This gives both women and minority group members an opportunity to know when jobs are vacant. They are also encouraging clerical and service staff members with applicable degrees to apply for administrative positions, giving them added opportunity.
Purdue is doing more these days to tell its story to the public. Bob Topping of the University News Service describes one such effort.
Not long after President Hansen came to Purdue University, one of the challenges that he gave us was to do a better job of telling the Purdue story. And a number of projects have been launched to carry this out. And under the auspices of the new University Development Office, they include the Purdue Parents Association, which is made up of all undergraduate parents, the Focus on Purdue Days, which attempt to bring people from various walks of life to the university, and the President's Council, which is composed of people who have made some rather substantial financial contributions to the university. The thing I'm primarily concerned with is Purdue Perspective, and this is our second issue. The idea here was to try to develop a publication that would have universal appeal to an audience of 145,000 alumni, parents, employees, and friends of the university, and also possibly to students. The whole idea, again, was to develop a new information base to reach people who may have been away from the university for many, many years. We have done this by realigning other priorities within our organization so that we are able to do this without addition of new funds or new staff. Mrs. Lynn Doyle is managing editor, and Dave Umberger, who is the chief photographer and photo editor for Perspective. Primarily, the thing that we try to do here is interest, inform, and entertain people with this publication. And if we do that, we think we'll have gone a long way towards telling the Purdue story in a better way.
Climaxing a search that started in 1966, Dr. John D. Axtell and his associates in the Department of Agronomy have identified sorghum lines containing twice as much lysine, or improved protein quality, as average sorghum. The discovery is expected to lead to a better diet for all the protein-deficient peoples of the world, where sorghum is the principal cereal.
John, I want to congratulate you and the people who have worked on the project for such a long time and have made such a very remarkable discovery. I think it illustrates the point I've been trying to make for quite some time, why we need a research university like Purdue. The contributions that it makes to the state, to the nation, and to the world are inestimable, and for this reason alone, its support, its encouragement, I think, are worth every penny that we receive in support.
1973 was a year of challenge and achievement. The years to come will bring even greater challenges. With your continued support, Purdue will carry on its reach for goals of excellence in providing quality education and research to Indiana and the nation.